me begin by saying that there has been no support that has been more consequential than the support coming from Mayor Bloomberg. It has been immense, and it is organized, it is committed, and it is consequential. And let me start by saying that I was told in 1992, when this was born, that there was no way you'd never beat the gun lobby. It's not possible. Well, in 1994, we did. In 1994, reading prevailed, and we passed the Sullivan ban, a limitation on the size of magazines, and a number of other measures, including expanding the so-called Brady Bill and background checks. And one thing I want to lay the rest of the outset, they worked. They all had a positive impact on public safety. They all had a positive impact on public safety. I did an interview yesterday saying, well, the impact on each of them down to each one was only this, that, or the other. I said, that's like saying we shouldn't have taken lead out of gasoline because it didn't end global warming. It had a positive impact. It wasn't the whole answer. Combined, these are common sense approaches that ironically, Mr. Mayor, and the polling data we've done recently, the American people already think that these gun safety proposals are in place. The American people, a significant number, already think the universal background check. They already think that anyone buys multiple guns has to be reported. They already think, and all, I mean, you can just go down the list. So the irony here is, what we're proposing is simply common sense. That the American people, in addition to the polls that the mayor cited, which I was going to mention will not repeat, in addition to that polling data, there is polling underneath it that says, but what, guess what? We think you've already done that. And so this is, and there's not one single thing being proposed, not one, that infringes upon anyone's Second Amendment constitutional right. Not one. And so I'd like to take a moment at the outset to not only thank the mayor, but thank the people standing behind me. Presumptuous to say that we've actually become good acquaintances and friends. We've met many times so far. And I want to tell you that, emphasize the mayor said, and I know you know it, but it's bears repeating. It takes an enormous amount of courage to be here. And you say, well, what's the courage? I've been lost a child. I understand that every time you show up at something ranging from a memorial service or to talk about the circumstance in which your child was lost, it comes back to you in a flash, as if they got that phone call yesterday. And I've told you before, I don't know how you do it, but you do. You do it. And you're one of the reasons why there's all these pieces of legislation passed through the Judiciary Committee and why we have a fighting chance. And so, you know, when you think about Grace and Jesse and these two beautiful little babies, that's a good word, beautiful little babies, and Lauren, who is not merely a teacher, this is a woman who, if this happened on the battlefield, she'd get a commendation. She'd be getting, literally, not figuratively, she'd be getting a commendation for her bravery, trying to protect her comrades, in this case, trying to protect these little angels. 3 months ago, a deranged man walked into Sandy Hook Elementary School with a weapon of war. That's what he walked in, with a weapon of war. And that weapon of war has no place on American streets. And taking it off American streets has no impact on one's constitutional right to own a weapon. Even no less than Justice Scalia in the last decision acknowledged that the government has a right to limit certain weapons from being able to be possessed by American citizens. This is not a constitutional issue. If you notice, when the ban was in place last time, there was not a constitutional challenge that went anywhere to the existence of the ban. So let's get this straight. This is not about anybody's constitutional right to own a weapon. For all those who say we shouldn't and can't ban assault weapons, for all those who say the politics is too hard, how can they say that? When you take a look at those 20 beautiful babies And what happened? And those 6 teachers and administrators. So this same young man, he not only came loaded with, armed with an assault weapon, a weapon of war, he came loaded with one 30-round magazine after another, one after another. An estimated 150 bullets were fired by this young man. And the police responded in 2.5 minutes. As my friends behind me did, I met with those state police officers. I met with them. I met with them privately. All you had to do was look into their eyes and see that vacant stare of how fundamental impact they were. They were, some of them, needing some help. Tell me that you can't take off the street these weapons of war. For all those who say we shouldn't or couldn't ban high-capacity magazines, just ask them one question. Think about me. Think about me. Think about how many of these children, or teachers, may be alive today, had he had to reload 3 times as many times as he did. Think about what happened out in where Gabby Gifford, my good friend, was shot and mortally wounded. Think about when that young man had to try to change the clip. Had he only had a 10-round clip when he changed the clip and fumbled and had it knocked out of his hand, how many more people would have been alive? And tell me how it violates anyone's constitutional right to be limited to a clip that holds 10 rounds instead of 30, or an Aurora, 100. This is a false choice that's being presented to the American people by those who are taking on our position. Look, folks, we have a responsibility to act. The loudest voices have to be for those beautiful babies. The loudest voices have to be for those silenced voices. Close to 3,000 since Newtown gunned down in American streets, homes, and neighborhoods. You know, it's time for the political establishment to show the courage your daughter showed. It doesn't take 1/10 the courage your daughter showed. I was saying to one of the men you're about to hear from, you know, it must be awful being in public office and concluding that even though you might believe you should take action, but you can't take action because of the political consequences. What a heck of a way to make a living. I mean this sincerely. What a heck of a way you have to act. The message I want to get across, Mr. Mayor, is the risk does not exist as it's exaggerated. Because the vast majority of American people, the vast majority of gun owners, the vast majority, even close to the majority of NRA members who only represent 4 million of gun owners in America. I think what the mayor has been pushing, what the president has proposed, is just simple common sense. It will not solve every problem. It will not end every gun death. It will substantially reduce it. And it matters. It matters. Even if one